Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please.
He did it. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio One of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact.
I see. Very well, I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness.
Very well. I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court.
Yes, sir. I'll explain with this here guide map.
To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area, as his deed says. The actors did a run-through of their scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works there at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there's a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. They didn't just marionette him. Come on, where's the dedication? The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear, if that is its real name, found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? That's okay, brother. I think I can probably remember that.
So the murder weapon was a spear? If such a thing truly exists? How medieval.
Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question, and that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see?
Understood.
Let's call this security officer to the stand. It's gonna get pretty cringe. Will the witness declare her name?
My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered.
Your name, please.
Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma.
Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names.
Wendy Oldbag, dearie. Just call me Grandma. Make fun of me, believe it? Call me an old bag and I cry to...
Objection. I object to the witness's talkativeness.
Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dearie.
Perhaps we can get to the testimony.
Now the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, I was. Yes, say?
Yes, say?
And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony.
She sure is one hell of an old bag.
On the day of the murder, I arrived...
What the fuck is wrong with me?
I arrived at the state guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hannah and the rest have been doing a run-through since then. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run through there since the morning. Well, I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 p.m. when I got to the yard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30, right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was headed toward the studio.
So we probably just present the photo there, right? Seeing as it's not him, it's a dude in the costume.
You saw the defendant then. Very well, let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor. Alright, right to the end. Hopefully I don't get got immediately. Let me get this straight, old bag. Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you?
Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly?
None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-Oldie Tokyo. Miss Old Bag. Is this the Mr. Powers that you saw?
Of course. Didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right?
No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder? True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai.
I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss Witness.
He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently.
However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Powers, do you? Nosy old man. Of course I have proof.
What? What? Even Edgeworth's surprised? The prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time.
How else to know anyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed of all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. And I'm gonna thrust it in your face right now.
Old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good.
Let's hear about your proof, then. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Mr. Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that photo. You can see he's dragging his leg, clear as day.
I see. But why does it still not look like it fits him even remotely?
That's how I knew it was Powers happy.
Well, I don't think we have anything we can present for that. You know, unless he's dragging one leg. Okay. Like, it really just looks like the pants are way too big and he's having trouble walking, if you ask me.
So he had sprained his ankle. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Well, thank you for being overt on what I should do, though I had already figured as much. Probably don't just press on that, right? Who was present at the run-through?
Well, let's see. There was Powers, he's the Steel Samurai. Then poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate. And he. And what exactly were you doing? Observing. Just observing.
What about the assistant?
Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such.
She didn't see the run-through then. Trip and fall?
Yes, And to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt.
Dude. That's not weird at all. You don't even like this guy.
Let's just skip over that part.
Where was the assistant then?
Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Power's ankle.
You may continue your testimony. He broke a prop.
Sure did. His own samurai spear.
This does not look broken. His samurai spear? The murder weapon?
Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it.
No, that's definitely actually part of the spear at the top, right? It has to be, it's like beveled. This strikes me as a significant detail. I'd better write this down in the court record. Okay.
Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad.
Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained?
Not so bad he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch.
That's the nap.
Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked by.
Dragging his foot, okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor?
Well, there is one thing that bothers me.
Which is?
Where is this Steel Samurai costume now?
Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. Well, you know, the witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes? And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers.
I suppose that's right.
Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? Object. Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photos can we see Mr. Will Powers.
The defense has a point.
As far as I'm concerned, there should already be enough to get a not guilty verdict. The whole point is beyond a reasonable doubt, right? I think we've introduced reasonable doubt at this point.
I also wonder if anyone else someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also.
Then allow me to remove any doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please?
No need to ask twice. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., right? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else was there. If they had, I would have seen them.
Okay.
So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be this Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
So maybe present the spear on one of those? Because it feels like the way to approach this is that, like, this is very clearly not got duct tape on it. So it can't be the same spear. Alright, let's just get pressing. How do you know that?
Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. And then, after some rubbish about it being a secret, pal, he told me everything.
I see Detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officer's fondness for donuts. Are you absolutely sure?
Oh, quite, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all.
Nobody suspicious looking? Right. Well, I don't know. I immediately took that to mean someone did, they just weren't suspicious. What about before you got to the guard station?
You mean before one? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in.
I'm just saying, I could probably hop that fence. It doesn't look very high.
Not to mention, If they had, I would have seen them.
Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness.
That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy.
Edgy boy. Old Windbag sure has balls. Well, you know what I mean. Old Windbag has a way of skipping over important details. Or for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. Alright. So, if they had, I would have seen them. So we can either show something that proves she wouldn't have seen, might not have been able to see them. Or the spear. I'm gonna go for... What I want to say to this is that this isn't his spear. So there seems to be an incongruity here. So, but do I... Because, you know... Wait, is that duct tape at the top of it? I can't zoom in any closer. That might actually be duct tape. But this looks beveled. This doesn't look like duct tape. Alright. Nope, that was not correct. Okay, that's fine. So the only other way to approach it seems to be that someone could have gone by without her seeing. How do we approach that exactly? No one else was there. Because we can't, like, there's no option to bring up that open vent for some reason, even though that would be seemingly the next point to go to, but that's not in the evidence. Alright, just present the photo again? Okay. Like, the reason I didn't go for that was, like, we've already said this, like, 3 times, but they are just unwilling to accept this response. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct?
Yes, sirree, Sonny.
So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture. Oh, no, of course. I just realized what we're presenting is that this is photo number 2, meaning that another photo was taken. Of course, of course.
And here, I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground.
Right. Anyway, it is also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data.
Oh, you know, if we wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening.
That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2.
Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October 15th. Really, Sonny.
Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2.
Photo 2.
The computer only held data for 1 photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo 1 if it really was the only photo?
Order, order. Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright.
Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not 1, but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there is only data for 1 of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access. The security lady herself.
Me, you watch your mouth, whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers.
Well, the camera saw a second person. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Oh, fucking hell. I just unlocked a core memory for a different case. Like, in this game, I just suddenly remembered something.
Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help.
Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either.
some help you are. You're a whippersnapper, too. Whippersnapper. Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai. Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please.
It's only the third case. He's already like, let me guess.
Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out one photo that day.
Well, Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this.
Well, of course, Sonny, I have only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin.
Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Alright. Well, let's just immediately press this, yeah? Well, who in the heck, language, was in the photo you erased?
A fanboy.
Fanboy?
Steel Samurai fanboys, real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day.
Wait a second, didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words.
Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area.
I would have liked to just be able to bring this up, but Phoenix is kind of fucking stupid, you know?
The grate's been loose for a while. It leads outside, and, well, that's where they come in.
They come in through the drain?
I told you they were freaks.
So, on the photo that you erased...
It was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade.
A really fucking annoying one as well. I hate the kid so much. Oh god, I can already see the one stupid fucking animation he does. I hate him.
Order, order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade. Yes, well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him.
A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear.
Impossible, I'd think. It's quite heavy.
It doesn't look that heavy. And like, you don't exactly need a lot of force to kill someone with a sharp object, you know? That's kind of the point, is... because it gave me a point. It's kind of the point of using a knife in the first place, right? So that you can kill him easier?
Right, as I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data.
Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there, that makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him.
This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time.
Mr. Powers. Yes. Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. See how I still don't believe you, despite assuring you repeatedly that I believe you, but I definitely don't believe you. I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest. So who was in the Steel Samurai in that security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. Why? Props go for a lot, dude. So where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick, what are we gonna do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could convincingly have done this. Right, basically we'll throw someone under the bus, and it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does this mean? Please don't sigh like that. She looks so fucking weird from behind.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter?
The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studio was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, ergo not actually proving anything, but there is still no one else that could have committed this crime, except there's a way in from the outside. We know somebody else was there, and Old Bag could just be lying. You know, we only have her word for it that it was a dude, like a boy in the first photo, but you know, whatever, we have weird laws here where you're pretty much just presumed guilty until proven innocent. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers.
Very well, Mr. Wright, your thoughts?
The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime.
Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized.
Right, great.
Who was the person?
I don't know. Who seems the most easy to... who's the easiest to throw under a bus? It seems like Old Bag is too difficult to prove a possibility. We could argue motive, because she does hate Powers and loves Hammer. No, of course, no, because I was like, well, she'd have a motive to frame him, but then she would have killed Will Powers, so that doesn't make any, or Hammer, so that doesn't make any sense, so it's not her. Assistant lady, no thoughts have been made on, but they're already said that she wasn't there. The grade school boy seems stupid on the face of it, but at the same time, they do still need to prove that he didn't do it, which is hard to do without at least seeing the guy, right? So it's probably this one. It was the grade school boy. Why isn't anyone saying anything? Bah! Are you seriously suggesting the boy did it, Mr. Wright? Grade school boy kills veteran action star with spear. For one thing, the murder weapon was with the Steel Samurai. Would you care to explain just how the boy would have obtained it from him? Maybe that was a dumb move. Okay, not that, right? Get fucked me. I would like to think that I had sound logic. We haven't spoken to the assistant, so, you know, I will follow the same logic I used a moment ago. The Steel Samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, became the Steel Samurai.
So you're saying the Steel Samurai in the picture is really the assistant?
That's correct, Your Honor. If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the Steel Samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot. But the main problem I'm having with this case right now is I just can't actually believe the premise that his leg looks injured in that. It just looks like he's dragging his feet because he's having trouble walking in the way too big costume. Remember the testimony concerning Powers' injury? Full run through O and me. Oh, her, of course, she didn't see that happen. The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look like the Steel Samurai with the costume, but she couldn't walk the Steel Samurai walk. She wouldn't have limped. Except that it just doesn't fit the dude, man. I just have trouble assuming the premise that they present. It just, like, look at his fucking legs. It's way too fucking big. Alright, old bag it is then. I just thought they'd refuse this one on the face of it immediately because, like, they've believed everything else she said. I thought they'd just dismiss this one outright.
Who?
The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Man, I just don't see it, man. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Old Bag.
What? Whippersnapper.
Order. Is this true, Old Bag?
Old Bag, that's Miss Old Bag to you.
Miss Old Bag was standing guard at the main gate. She was by herself, in other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume, then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder.
Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume?
There's also, like, the other thing that makes Old Bag seem like a bad choice is she really fucking likes Jackhammer. Why did she kill him? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers.
I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright.
Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes 2, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on the matter?
The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time.
What? What's that supposed to mean? So you all think I did it? Is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something.
What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way. Press further. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day.
But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer?
Yet this is the thing, right? You forgot that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive, too. I guess that's true, isn't it? I hadn't really considered that angle. That's true, no one has actually given any reason for Powers to do it. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope.
Just wait a minute. What about the other person who went through the studio? The boy, the one whose photo I erased.
Well, you know, I wasn't allowed to look, I was not allowed to accuse him a minute ago, so if they just accept this now, I'm gonna be really fucking upset.
He's only a grade schooler, though, as you said. 2nd or 3rd grade, was it? That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops.
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? I'm upset that you're entertaining this when you shot me down immediately for presenting it. That boy's not the killer.
What? How can you be so sure? Or is it to be nice to the kids and mean to your elders? Elders' Day? Mean to your elders' day?
I've never heard that.
Whippersnapper.
I have proof.
Proof? Indeed.
Let's see the proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder. I mean, you want the photo, right? Right? Has to be the photo, doesn't it? Maybe it's the key card. Where's the grate? It's in... the grate is in the employee area, not Studio 1, correct? Am I remembering that right? Or is it just the photo, like this is clearly not a boy? Oh no, because she's talking about the first photo. Has to be this. The scene of the murder, as we all know, was Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key?
I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this?
The Windbag, speechless. This has to be a first.
Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy, was that her name?
Some think old bag, Your Honor.
Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned.
We did it. Never mind.
Wait a second. I'm not gonna just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me? I'm talking.
Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk.
Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about.
Not to talk about? By whom? Huh? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk?
Well, testify. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studio on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studio that day. But if you're gonna go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free.
Why do I even need to cross-examine this? This should immediately just be beneficial for me.
This is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now?
I would like the option not to cross-examine this testimony, as this, without any interjection from me, is good for my case.
Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told.
No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag.
Mr. Wright, you're cross-examining.
I don't want to. This testimony is only beneficial for me. Alright, if we must. Who were these people?
Well, the director and the producer, for starters.
The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course!
Well, I was surprised no one asked about it.
To be honest, excellent point. Why did nobody notice that? It's myself included. By the way, remember to stay hydrated. So where were these people?
The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through.
Oh fuck, I just remembered who the director is. Oh Christ.
He joined the producer around lunchtime and they had a meeting after that.
Oh god, I'm thinking about him. Where?
Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer.
Studio 2? There was a Studio 2?
Yes. Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left.
The path where the monkey's head has fallen over. Now, okay, before we proceed further, I want to say this while we're looking at this picture. I remember clearly that a point we have to get around during this is that they couldn't get to Studio 2 because the path is blocked. I would like to ask you, what about this scene is blocking that path? Could you not just walk around it? Or over it? Or under it? You know, it's not even covering the whole street pretty clearly. But I remember this being a sticking point.
Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination?
I think I've already asked all my questions, but... I don't, but I'm presuming it wants me to keep going.
They had nothing to do with it, see?
Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder.
I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side.
So you've got your bonus and you still talked. Nice. I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask. Yes. Your Honor, we have learned that there were others at Global Studio on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers.
The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people we've just been told of.
He's not happy. I understand, Your Honor.
This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. Court is adjourned.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me.
Aw, really? It's nothing. Or should I say, sniff.
We'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to gain material for the cross-examination. So Nick, have we figured out just who is in that Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers?
I don't think it was her, really.
Neither do I, Nick.
Yeah, I know. I was just buying some time. I just threw her under the bus. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers.
Poor old Windbag. I feel kind of sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studio.
Right.
We'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Tremendous. We've done it. But that means we draw closer to meeting them. The director and the boy, two extremely annoying characters. The director is actually in pretty stiff competition for, like, one of the worst characters in the entire fucking series. Just a repugnant being. Anyway,